Hey, what's up everybody? I'm JBFlintlock. In this video we're going to cover working up a load. What I mean by that is we're going to try and find out what load is going to work best in your gun. So there's a patch and ball and powder combination that ideally is going to be the most accurate in your gun. The tough part is figuring out what that is. There's really no way around it other than trial and error and going to the range and actually doing it. But I'm going to try and help you through and maybe eliminate some variables that is going to save you some time. So this is the 10th video in my video series on muzzleloader education. I've been trying to work my way up to some more technical things, but basically where we ended my last video was loading a muzzleloader and firing it. Now we're going to take a look at how we can make that muzzleloader the most accurate we can. If you have any questions at any point, drop a line in this video. I'll be happy to answer them, or you can reach out to me on my website, www.jbflintlock.com. So the only thing we're really going to need for this is a set of calipers and a calculator. So we're gonna do a workup on this 45 caliber long rifle. So there's a couple measurements that we need. We need the bore diameter, or the tightest portion of the bore, what that measurement is, and the widest measurement of the grooves. So we want to go inside. There are lands and grooves. Lands are the protrusions that are your inside of your bore, and your grooves are what's cut into that and is the widest portion. So we're going to take those two measurements. I'm going to put them up here on display. I'm going to start with the groove diameter. So what I like to do is take my calipers and take my groove measurement, so my widest measurement. In this case it is 0.477. So the next one is my bore diameter. So this is going to be from land to land, directly across from each other. So that's going to be the tightest portion of your bore. In this case I have 0.453. So I have these two numbers up here. What I'm going to do is subtract the groove from the bore from the groove. So that's going to give me a difference of 24 thousandths. Now you take that number and divide by 2, because you have grooves on each side. That is going to give you, in this case, 12 thousandths. That 12 thousandths is your groove depth. So why does that matter? Well, when you go to pick a patching material, you need to know what your groove depth is, or your rifling depth is. So in this case I have 12 thousandths deep rifling. So there's really no point in using or trying 10 thousandths deep or 10 thousandths thick patch material, because that's not even enough material to fill the groove. So you're going to get all kinds of gas escape around that load, and you're not going to get the velocity and the accuracy that you're looking for. So a good starting point would be 15 thousandths thick patching. So when you buy patch material, a lot of it is marked with the thickness. But if you just buy fabric from, say, Joanne Fabrics, you can just take a measurement of it. In this case I have some 20 thousandths thick patching material. So since we're going to eliminate a variable, and we're going to say that in order to fill the grooves, the rifling in this, we need greater than 12 thousandths. So there's the option of 15, 18, or 20 thousandths. Those are common sizes. But so you can, 15 thousandths still might be a little bit light, because there might be some inaccuracies in our measurements and things like that. So I would probably stay away from that and go a little bit thicker. I like to load a little bit tighter. So I would say 18 to 20 thousandths would be a good starting point for this rifle. Now, every rifle is different. You know, even the same manufacturer may have slight tolerances that are different between the guns that come out, like on production guns. So when I see these questions most often on like forums and Facebook groups and things like that, people say, oh, I have a 45 caliber or a 50 caliber, what should I be shooting? So unfortunately, you know, it's hard to take information from someone else because what works in one gun may not work in another. Unfortunately, you're just going to have to put in the work at the range to figure out what's best. The best way to do it is to put your gun on the bench, and you're not really sighting in this way, you're just trying to find out what gives you the best group. So I like to shoot between 3 and 5 shot groups to determine, you know, what is going to work best. And the more shots you can do for your group, the better that information is that you're getting. So in the case of this gun right here, we had a bore diameter of 0.453. So they make different size balls for each caliber. So just because your local shop may only carry one size for that, it doesn't mean that they're not out there and available. Also, you have the option to cast your own balls to get the right size. Sometimes you have to do that. So in the case of this gun that we're working with today, 0.453. So that tells me that a .451 ball would probably be too tight. It's too close to the bore diameter. It really doesn't give you any room for your patch material. So a good rule of thumb is to go 10 thousandths smaller than your bore diameter. So the closest production size to what we're looking at would be a .445. So that is what actually this gun shoots. But that is, you know, a good starting point. So now that we've determined a relative patch material that might be ideal, so in that 18 to 20 thousandths inch range, and a bore or a ball diameter of 0.445. So with those two things, that's gonna, you know, give you a good starting point to start with. As far as powder goes, you're going to want to experiment with different charges. Each gun typically has a low end and a high end with a kind of a sweet spot in the middle. What I mean by that is, if you start with a low powder charge, say 40 or 50 grains, and you work your way up, you're going to find that it's inaccurate at low velocity. It's going to come into kind of a good area where your group is going to get smaller and smaller, and then as your velocity and your powder charge goes up, that group's going to open back up. So more powder is not always better. Sometimes it's better to go with a little bit lower charge and have good accuracy. So one thing that I didn't discuss with you previously is the actual powder. Typically you're going to put 2F or 3F in the bore. If you have a larger size, say 50 caliber or larger, it's recommended that you shoot 2F. If you're below 50 caliber, 3F works really well in the bore. And then for priming flintlocks, you're going to be using 4F or finer in the pan. So, but I hope that this information was, you know, useful to you and that you were able to take something away from it. Like I say, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I really appreciate the view. If you like this type of content, give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you're watching, and you know, we're gonna keep going with this video series, and hopefully get more information out there to the muzzleloading community. As always, thank you and safe shooting.